Our first Lifetime Award winner comes from Georgia, but he made quite a mark here in the Bay Area. He began promoting boxing in 2004. He is the former owner of one of the most successful boxing promotion companies in Tampa, Fight Night Productions. For several years, Fight Night put on top-level shows in front of sold-out crowds at the a la carte pavilion in Tampa. He promoted and co-promoted fights on all of the major networks that televise boxing: HBO, Showtime, ESPN, Fox Sports, Comcast, and more. Included on those shows, 17 title fights and 3 world title fights. After Fight Night moved on, he became a partner with All-Star Boxing, our inductee, Tutu Zabala Jr., with Boxeo Telemundo on Telemundo Network, and he continues to help bring outstanding boxing action to all boxing fans around the world from right here in the Bay Area. He's a very, very fond gentleman of the sport, and we are very proud of all his accomplishments that have given all of us so much enjoyment night after night, whether on television or live at the a la carte pavilion. Ladies and gentlemen, the first Florida Boxing Hall of Fame award, the Boxing Achievement Award this evening, goes to SHEA Bailey.
Boxing's been one of the best sports, and one of the best things I've ever been involved in. Something interesting happened tonight. My daughter realized for the first time that on December 16, 2004, if you look in your program, I promoted my first boxing event. That happened to be the day she was born, so she's a little upset with me. Her response was, "Daddy, you left us." I'll never forget that. We had a show in Atlanta that night. My daughter was born an hour later into it. Here's what kind of woman I married. She looked at me and she said, after an hour after she's had this kid, and she says, "Don't you have a boxing match to go to tonight?" And she's only used it as leverage about 5 or 6 times since we've been married. So it actually worked out pretty good. This is about the only sport. My buddy Aaron Jacobs, he's probably one of my best friends who I met in boxing. What I like about this sport is he always says a zebra can't hide its stripes. And I did some amateur boxing when I was little. I realized I wasn't very good at it. I'd rather take my beatings at the bank than in the ring. So I became a promoter. And Aaron used to say you can paint a zebra white, you can paint a zebra black. But when it starts sweating, it's going to do exactly what it does because it's a zebra. And that's why you look at guys, some of the guys don't have the skill set that some of these other great fighters have, or some of the guys may have so much skill set, but they don't have the heart that another fighter's got. And I think that's what's so good about Tampa. We were able to go there, and you can see a kid like, we signed Keith Thurman together, obviously a great prospect, a tremendous fighter. But the ones that touched me the most are fighters like Alex Baba, who Tutu and Ruben actually took to a WBC world title fight when they had him, and I had him after that. And guys like fighters like Asandi Gibbs and Noemi Bosk, and these fighters that show up to these fights, and they're these local heroes. And they come in, and you would think the way that they fight, that they're fighting in front of 1 billion people. And that's the way that I think when a local promoter promotes, that's the way we promote. And I can tell you this, there's only so many things that you can do in this world that'll give you the kind of excitement that you get that I had when Edner Cherry fought Timothy Bradley for the world title. I'll never forget it. Me and Aaron were like 2 giddy little schoolgirls standing in the ring, and Jimmy Lennon Jr.'s screaming, it's showtime. And it's probably one of the greatest emotions I've had in my entire life till 12 rounds later. He did lose the fight, but we had a great time that night. And to me, the only kind of rush that you can get in doing is something like that in boxing. You can't get that rush anywhere else. I can tell you that some of as from a promoter standpoint, people always come to me and say, "Man, that went without a hitch. It was smooth." It's never smooth, ever. Here's what makes it smooth. It's Irwin at the door taking the tickets. That makes it look smooth. It's Bob Alexander when you forget to give him a sponsor, flinging a card at there saying, "Don't forget this guy," and he grabs it at the last second and remembers to do it. It's Aaron coming in with the table placards way late, later than he's supposed to. And it's Ivan Echeverria driving me nuts, but busting his butt, running around, making sure all the people are getting the tickets that they need to get. It's Orlando Fernandez making sure all the fighters got somebody to work with. It's those people that you never see that make people like me look good. And those are the ones that really, if I could chop this award into about 1,000 pieces and give it to them, I probably would. Thank you.